Welcome to the Soul Tribe Podcast. The Soul Tribe Podcast was created to help you navigate through the world of spirituality, wellness, and self-development in an easy, grounded, and relatable way. We break down everything from the Akashic Records, manifesting, spirituality, and so much more. We want to help expand your boundaries and bring the spiritual world to you in a fun and easy way. Get ready to be inspired with tips, tools, and easy to digest information. Let's do this.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Soul Tribe Podcast. Today we want to talk about the difference between connecting and receiving information from either your higher self or the Akashic Records. So we're going to talk about, for us, what those differences are. And how we feel differently. This is a question Lorena got on her Instagram, and she thought, ooh, that would make... Oops. Okay. One of your social media platforms, kind of. It's a question you got, and you messaged me and were like, oh, this is a really good episode. So here we are. We're going to talk about it. And the first thing I want to point out, and I'm going to ask you right away what you think, Lo, but for me, when I think about connecting to your higher self, the most basic form that all of us do that you cannot deny is intuitive hits.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Like your intuition. To me, your higher self is connected to your intuition. And by, like you're saying, intuitive hits or intuitive feelings. I mean, for me, it might be a feeling. For some, it might be a knowing. You know what I mean?
An urge, like a huge urge you're feeling.
Yes.
Like, I don't know
that was
why
with the
I gotta do
podcast,
this.
right?
Yes.
For me, that wasn't, to me, I don't know if it was the Akashic Records. I didn't have them open at the time when I got that message to start the podcast or to start becoming a level 2 Akashic Records reader. Like, to me, that was my intuition telling me, this is what you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so for me, that's like the most basic form. That's like when you didn't get into the spiritual realm a lot. You didn't look into connecting better and receiving messages. That's just something that I think we are all born with and we have, and it cannot be denied, right?
No, it can't be denied. It's
part
of the experience we have here on the earth kind of plane as souls incarnated into human bodies. We still... we might lose sight of that or disconnect from that, but ultimately we all have that ability. We just disconnect from it, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, think about the body, right? Obviously we have the chakras, and then we have, we can bring down energy into those chakra centers and help us circulate our aura and our energy body, right?
Yeah.
And that's really connected to the higher self. So that's your most intimate relationship outside of this dimension.
Yeah.
Your most proximate one, I guess you'd say, right?
Yeah. Now you're saying your aura and your chakras. To me, that definitely, like, I have my Akashic Records open now, and to me, they feel very linked to your higher self. Like there's a divine connection between the two. So many times that would make sense then when we're blocked or we feel that we can't speak or we can't live our purpose connected to our higher self. Sometimes we need to like cleanse out our aura. We need to cleanse out our chakras. We need to release certain stagnant energy so that we can feel connected to ourselves again. That's such an interesting kind of way to look at it. I never looked at it that way, I guess.
Yeah. Because I mean, it depends on who you talk to, or it depends on what like tradition or what like practice, but some practices just use the basic chakras. And some of them bring in the higher self point that's above your head. So it's not the crown chakra, it's the one above that, right? It's, I don't know, maybe your hand. So if you extend your hand, because I don't know, I'm not really good at measurement. If you were to extend your hand, it's, if you don't have like ridiculously long arms, obviously.
Yeah, like if you put your hands like straight up, like alongside your head, like pointing up.
It would be around where your hand touches up there.
Yeah,
right?
Around there.
That's
your higher self point, right?
Yeah. So that's where you can communicate the information directly from your soul. That's your higher self point.
Yeah.
So it's so close to you that it should be easier for people to get information from there than the Akashic Records. Because if you think about it, the Akashic Records in some sort of a way, it is a bit of an external thing, even though everything's connected. It's more external from you, whereas your higher self is implemented inside of this 3D system that you have going on, right?
Yeah, and something that just came up as you were saying that is, because we're talking about the differences, right, of connecting with our higher self and connecting with the Akashic Records. The Akashic Records definitely feels like something more external to us, but at the same time, when we're fully connected to our higher self, we're trusting those intuitive messages, we're connecting to ourself, connecting to the Akashic Records or anything else becomes easier. So it's kind of like the first step, I feel sometimes at moments that it's like, if we're not already trusting our intuition, it might be harder to trust the messages that we're getting from the Akashic Records.
So it's listening to yourself.
Yeah.
It's like the easiest way to say it.
Yeah, it's the easiest way to look at it. I'm sitting with myself in meditation, for example, and I receive a message of, I don't know, like I've gotten so many weird messages meditating, but like one of them I remember once was just like, it was so interesting. It was when I was doing all my journaling and doing all my self-love work when I just first started opening the Akashic Records for other people. And I remember sitting one morning listening to some music, and this overwhelming feeling of gratitude just came. I'm getting goosebumps just saying that. Just overwhelming feeling of gratitude for being able to open other people's Akashic Records, having found my path that really fulfilled me and made me feel purposeful. And then all of a sudden, I'm not kidding, like to me, things become external. So when I feel things and I receive a message, many times I'll get an external sign. All of a sudden I receive a message from a friend that's living in the UK. She listens to the podcast. So Anna, if you're listening, this is for you. She messaged me. She's like, Lorena, oh my God, thank you. Because I had put up some kind of message, I think, on my Instagram. She's like, oh my gosh, I so resonated with that message. Thank you so much. And it was like a confirmation of that intuitive message of like, keep cultivating gratitude, and the things that you desire and need in your life will come to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I've been on a really good roll lately. I've been feeling really good, and I think it all started with stepping into my worth and going, that's it.
Yeah.
Like if I don't value more everything I do, I already valued it, but I just needed to really realize how much value, like I needed to realize how much it really does, you know, how much work and energy I put into things. I think that's what I was missing.
It's easy to lose sight. And I think people that go into the level 2 course or any type of healer will realize this. It's easy to lose sight of what you're doing because you're just in it and you're helping. And until you take a step back and you're like, wow, and you receive like a message from somebody, or somebody kind of makes you kind of take a step back and you're like, oh, wow, I really am helping people. Like this really feels real, you know? Yeah. It's crazy.
It's funny because if I'm having a day where I'm feel like I had reading and then after it ended, I was like, oh my God, sometimes it's hard. You can't tell how much you helped the person because your ego, after you finish the reading, your ego is like, maybe I could have done better. Like, I wish I could have helped them more. But because you want to help them too much sometimes.
Yes, that happens.
Because you can't solve their problems. Yeah, you can't solve their problems. You can give them information, but I think your ego comes in and you wish that you could have done more. And so it's like sometimes you have that feeling, but sometimes not. Sometimes you come out of it because you just realized the person, you feel their energy change. You see their eyes change. You see their face change. They finish the reading and you're like, okay, wow. And I remember once I hung up the call after the reading and then I let Sandra know that I had finished so he can, come downstairs because I think I was in the kitchen or something. And so he can come downstairs. And when he came downstairs, I'm like, well, I did my good deed of the day and I helped someone. What have you done today? And he's like, nothing. I just worked. Right. And so I'm like, that's when I'm like, I'm fucking lucky. I'm so lucky. Like my work gets to be helping people. And then I get to not only that's my job, but I also get to have that really good feeling after I do it.
Yeah. And it's not ego, right? Because I think that's a good thing that you said. It's not ego. It's, wow, this is my purpose. Like, it's like kind of like that emoji with like the brain exploding. It's like, holy crap. It's like, that's my freaking, like, that's my job, like quote unquote job. It's not a job. It doesn't feel like a job. You do it with a completely open heart and you hold space for people. It's beautiful. But
yeah, I love it.
I do think going back to what we were saying about the higher self and the intuition, when we can fully connect with our higher self. And like we said, anybody has that capability. We all have that capability. The problem here is, and this is kind of the message I was getting before, it's either our family, people around us, our society, our culture, they're not cultivating that way of living, of trust what you think or you feel you're getting, or what you need to do for your life, or what's right. And you can see this so clearly with people in their careers. It's I studied medicine because my dad was a doctor and he told me that I had to be a doctor. And I see this so much in readings. I'm not happy with my career, my job, because I just did what I thought was right or what was expected of me. It's like, well, if you had really listened to your intuition and been connected with that, well, what would you have done? Or what would you do? And what would you change?
Yeah.
Because I can guarantee you they're completely different things. What you think is right, or what society tells you is right, and what your higher self is here to do and connect with you and tell you.
Yeah. It's funny because, like, if I think back to when we were young, we both didn't have something that we were both like, this is what I want to do. Like, we didn't.
I was obsessed with photography and art. That
I
was
do
like
remember
something
you liking art a lot.
Yeah,
you were doing
that
the
was
pottery
something,
stuff,
and I did post production, like video editing. I thought that was what I wanted to do, and you know what? I'm using all of that stuff now.
Oh, it's true. You're right. But I think that all those things are also linked to the empathy ability that you have. I think creativity and arts actually really help empaths deal with their abilities. So I think that that's also a big reason why that was in your life.
Yeah, and for me also, I think it's, you know, I can get so structured and caught up in things that the art kind of would get me more into a flow state. And I wasn't in this perfectionist mode all of the time. It's like, well, let me just create something. Yeah. And then the perfectionist stuff would kick in. It's like, oh, this looks ugly, or this isn't good enough.
Mom,
I'm comparing.
I remember Mom used to love the stuff that you'd make. You'd be like, no, keep it, throw it away. It's not that nice. You'd be like, Mom's like, no, I'm gonna put it over here. It's amazing.
Mom would like put it all over the house. It was so cute. Yeah. I don't know. I think so. Yeah, I do believe that what you're saying is true. And creativity is so important. Oh my gosh.
I can't think of anything that I really liked when I was little, besides saying that I was going to swim with I wanted to be a dolphin trainer.
I remember that. Yeah. And you did it.
I did it. And then I realized the dark side of dolphin training.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I couldn't be a part of it anymore. Yeah.
But if you think about it, all of that led us to so that desire or that intuitive hit that we're getting doesn't necessarily mean that that's like the be all and end all of what we're going to do with our lives. It might just be bringing us to the next step that we need to take so that we can ultimately get down this path that we need to be on, right?
That's what we were saying the other day on the podcast with Brittany.
With Brittany, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I truly think that. And
it's
I think
sometimes you'll get into a subject or you'll be like, oh, this book really calls me, and that book, it led you to this place and this subject and then this teacher and then so I think that it's like, you know what? It's like the soul leaves little crumbs.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the little cartoon.
It's breadcrumbs, leading you, because sometimes it's not about us just getting from point A to point B. There's a process to that. Yeah. And the way we find our way through that is through connecting to our intuition, our higher self, and knowing and feeling what the next step is for us. It's easy. Obviously, this world would be so much easier if we were just like, well, I want to be a photographer. Let me do this school, and then I go and get a job here, and then I'm done. But maybe you're getting that urge to be a photographer, for example, because you need to meet somebody and do something through that, or you're going to meet the love of your life or your soulmate, or you don't know. Like that's the beauty of life. Like we have this free will to listen to our intuition and our higher self, connect with it, and find our way in our own kind of sense, and be on this amazing path that, you know, our rational mind doesn't want to go down these paths. It's like, let me just figure out what I want. Let me just do it. And let me just get it over with. And it's like, no, there's so much in between that, right? All these grays and all these colors that it's just like, why are we trying to fast forward? Right.
Yeah. I've been trying to enjoy a lot the journey. And when I went to the woods, that really helped me. Like it really brought me I was very present the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm also not a morning person, so on my day-to-day basis, even though I don't wake up any more tired, because I used to wake up tired, I don't anymore. So I now don't wake up tired, but I still don't wake up excited. Especially if it's raining outside and have to bike Aurora to school.
Yes. You know what? You're saying that. I woke up and felt the same thing today. I'm like, why am I feeling so dreary? And there's just days. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? I'm pretty sure a lot of people are feeling that way right now with.
Oh, but I've been like that my entire life.
Have you? You've never been a morning person, but.
I'm not a morning person. But I was in the woods. And I was like, oh my God, I want to channel this Lucia forever. I'm like, I'm going to have to live in the woods forever.
Yep.
So I would wake up. The routine would be I would wake up and Aurora and I, of course, would have breakfast. And then after breakfast, I would drink my mate. While Aurora kind of watched a little bit of cartoons or did some games on, the iPad or something. And then we would go for a really long morning walk in the woods. So I'd wake up in a good mood because I'd know that my routine is food. Who's not happy about food? So it's like food, mate. I love mate. And then a walk in the woods with like no stress. There was like nobody there. We were alone in the woods more than half the time. We barely passed people. So it was just us with the trees. And I don't know, it was amazing. And then I had this routine where I would, in the morning when I got into the woods, I would pick a tree that called my attention. I would put my hands on the tree. And first of all, I'd thank it for existing. I'd thank it for its community, its family. I would thank it for giving us oxygen. And I would, do like a gratitude thing to it. And then I would ask the tree to exchange energy with me. I said, take from me what you need and let me take from you what I might need. And I would sit there and I would feel the energy go through my hands all the way to my feet. Like I would feel it at my feet. So it was like, whoosh. And it was nice. And I was like, what am I going to tell Aurora I'm doing? I was like, Aurora, I'm speaking to the trees. So then she started bringing her stuffed animal and she would put the two hands of the stuffed animal and she said, Mama, cat speaking to trees.
Oh my God.
But then she started calling me crazy.
But that's what I mean when I say it's easy for us to feel completely disconnected from our higher self because maybe your parent told you like stop with that nonsense or don't listen to that or what are you doing? It's like I think it's not something, maybe now things are changing because I definitely feel like more people are awakening, but years ago it wasn't so normal to connect to your Akashic Records or be an intuitive or listen to your intuition and guide yourself in your life with that. And I think if we can all do that more, we're all going to live a more purposeful life. We're going to feel less depressed, less pulled down, less miserable, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard sometimes when you get into a process where maybe you feel stuck or you feel like things aren't going where you need them to go right now, or you feel like you need something else. That's when you really just got to ask for signs and synchronicities and those breadcrumbs. You have to really, it's like you have to let go and say, you know what, I don't want to have to control everything, because that's when you're going to get upset and depression and sadness, right? Say, well, I'm going to release the control and I'm going to ask my soul and my spiritual team to give me the signs, to bring in the synchronicities, to show me the pathway and allow me to go the right way for me. But make sure you're stating also, I think it's important for you to state what you want because you have free will. So it's not just, oh, destiny lead me, right? It's more like, this is really what I think I deserve and I want from life, for example.
Or I desire.
Or I know that this is what I'm aligned with. Help me find those breadcrumbs so I can go through that pathway. So I think that's something that we all have to actively do. And I'm trying to repeat things in the morning when I wake up in my mind.
Yeah, I think that's good. So how do you think, because we know and we can explain, and we've explained it on the podcast, how to connect your Akashic Records. How do you feel you connect to your higher self?
I feel like I bring the energy down from the higher self. It comes down. This is how it feels like. It feels like the energy comes down. I know her name. For example, I know her name. I know my higher self's name. So I state her name first. And then I directly, ask to be feel the strong connection and I'll ask questions or try to get information if I want. It feels very different from the Akashic Records, because the Akashic Records feels very like informative. Like, I don't know, if I had to compare it, it would be a master class. The soul would be the master class, and the Akashic Records would be the whole college process. Like, one feels more academic than the other, I guess you could say.
Yeah, like what you mean, like a master's program?
No, like a master class is like a class you do in like a weekend, or you do like for a day. You have like a 6-hour class and it's called a master class, right?
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
So for me, when I connect to the soul, it feels more like a master class. Because if you think about it, I am my soul.
Yes.
But my soul isn't me.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy, but yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I'm my soul because what is Lucia? What is Lucia? Lucia is a character that my soul is playing in this lifetime. Also, guys, don't give out your soul name. Like, you'll never hear me say my soul name on the podcast, because it's a very important name and you don't want like the wrong person to have that name. So that's a little tidbit there. So I am the character or the life experience that my soul is deciding to live in this timeline. So my soul is me, but Lucia is not my soul, because my soul has played a bunch of other characters, had a bunch of other experiences and timelines. So my soul is not just this experience, this timeline is not just Lucia, it's a bunch of others. So I feel like when you're connecting to your soul, you're connecting to the portion in this lifetime. I feel like when I'm connecting to it, I'm connecting to a portion of the soul that's pendant upon this timeline now.
Yeah, we've talked about parallel lives and stuff too, right? Like, our soul isn't always just perfectly here, right?
Yeah.
Incarnated completely. It could be in other parallel situations.
Yeah. Whereas when I connect to the Akashic Records, I feel like I have I like calling it the spiritual team. Like, I feel like I have the whole spiritual team, and I have the whole book that carries the information of all those experiences my soul has had. I feel like it's much more material.
It's a process. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
And the higher self is more like personal. It's more like one-on-one. It's more tangible.
At least for me, I get less information from my higher self.
Yeah, me too.
Than the Akashic Records. But that's what I was saying. It feels more like a masterclass than like a whole college course.
Okay, if you look at it that way, yeah, that totally makes sense now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why I came up with that, but yeah, that.
That's great. No, that's great. I think you're right. Yeah. I mean, for me, I connect in moments of silence. I connect when I create space. I think specifically when I meditate, not so much breath work. To me, breath work is the like what comes before the meditation. And then when I do the meditation, that's when I can connect with my higher self. But I felt moments where I'm out on a walk and I get a lot of downloads and a lot of like intuitive hits too when I'm doing that. So it definitely feels like when I'm not in this working and doing and cleaning the house. I'm sometimes cleaning the house, actually. I get into a kind of a flow state sometimes when I'm not pissed off about cleaning.
If I'm in the zone when I'm cleaning, I channel that, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, walking for me is this is why I think I've tried to stick with it so much, because it's given me so many ideas and like aha moments, I guess, in certain ways of seeing situations differently and feeling differently about things and be like, oh, why am I not looking at this situation this way? And it's kind of like, I feel like my higher self giving me those intuitive hits of like, oh, all you have to do is just look at this in this kind of way. And it's usually, to me, it's more feelings, and sometimes it's words or downloads. Kind of feels like that a little bit.
Yeah. It's very different. It is very different. Yeah.
And the Akashic Records definitely is more information based. And the way you receive, at least in my particular case, feels very different. And I feel like there's less formalities with connecting to your higher self. You know, you can be connected to your higher self 24/7 if you want. I mean, we are technically, but when I mean connected, I'm connected to my intuition. I'm connected to that depends on you and what you're doing in your life.
Yeah.
In the Akashic Records, you have an opening verse, you have an intention, and you connect. You know, and we all also have the right to connect to the Akashic Records, especially I believe in level 1 where it's your information. You have access to that. No one can deny you that. Usually we're just holding ourselves back from connecting to that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that just to prove, well, I'm not really proving but in a way, just to prove that we're meant to connect to something to help us lead. Just the fact that knowing that the pineal gland has a crystal element to it. Did you know that?
Yeah.
So, and we use crystals to heighten our energy. We use crystals to help us communicate. We use crystals to keep the vibration of a room and blah, 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 all that stuff. Like, obviously, it was purposely, and the pineal gland is used to receive information from the Akashic Records and from the higher self. So, your body was made to communicate with these beings of light, with your higher self, right? With the Akashic Records. Just knowing that element is there in your body is, for me, it's proof.
Yeah, I agree. We're meant to experience that. It's just we're not taught that.
Yeah, they should be like, oh, by the way, you have this gland that's in your brain. Like, no, they're talking about the right side and the left side and then the rational and the creative. And that's it. That's all you get.
It's true. There's so much more. So much more.
I think, we probably learn like the frontal lobe and something about anger and we get a little bit of that. But how come they're not talking to us when we're in, school about that? That's a cool tidbit, and that's really interesting information. That makes you feel special.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
and I don't think it's a coincidence. We're here to experience that capability here as humans through our soul connection.
I think that everything the body has is very purposeful.
Yeah. Yeah. And we take that for granted so much. Take so many things for granted, I think. And I think that's just the way we're used to living sometimes.
Well, that's kind of the system
myself
we're in
included.
Right now.
Yeah, especially now, I think. Our health. How many years have we all been taken for granted our health and not made the best decisions for ourselves?
Well, just already putting ourselves in the position where we need to sit down and work 8 and 9 hours, which a lot of people have office jobs, right? Sit down 8-9 hours and not move around. The body wasn't made for that.
No, nobody was made for that.
And yet you're in school doing it already as a young child.
And you don't get up to go to the bathroom because you're going to get in trouble, or you have a recess, but it's not enough.
No,
you have to learn, but it doesn't have to be in that context. It could be different. And this is where I think all of us need to open our minds a little bit more to our reality right now and realize that there could be a completely different way of living that might be better. We're just stuck in our ways, Yeah,
there's definitely a better way for all of us to live. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And I hope that we get there. It depends a lot about the free will of individuals, what they concentrate on, what they're projecting towards, all that stuff comes into play. But I think for me, the number that's always been very interesting is 2025. I think that we need to be creating a new system, and it feels like a really key component to that, the new creation of a new system or a new way of being, a new way of living, a community living, whatever it is. To me, it feels like it starts coming into play in 2025.
I can see that, yeah. Yep.
So I'm excited about that. And I
still feel like there's resistance, though.
Yeah, there is resistance because
so much.
We like the commodities, I think, also, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's I'm comfortable. I can sit from my home and order everything I need Don't even have to get up out of my chair or couch. And it's easy as that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. So many great things about it, but is that really what we're meant to do in this world? There's so much deeper things that we need to be connecting with. And that should only be a small portion of that.
Yeah.
And I think things have become so global right now, it's hard for any of us to ignore what's going on. It's impossible. More than ever. And that's something that I started questioning the other day. I'm like, why am I so into this topic or this topic? And I'm like, because I don't think years ago that's something anybody paid attention to. Everybody was like in their own little bubble. And now with the pandemic and everything, I think it's really opened people up to see what's going on in different parts of the world and become more aware of it, even though mainstream media might not be showing exactly what's going on. What you need to educate yourself. That's your responsibility. And that's you wanting to see what's actually going on. Otherwise, you're just going to see a part of that or a fabricated vision of that. And then you're just living this, like a comatose state. Like you're just in a state of living a lie. Like none of us should be living like that right now. Sorry, I'm getting really profound here.
No,
it's just
it's
been
fine.
really
You're
heavy
going
in my
with
heart, right? It's been really, so many people in our Patreon, and I guess this is a good time to talk about this. A lot of people in our Patreon also are going through a lot, and we've created a little Telegram group where we can all chat with each other to be a little bit more connected, right? Than just us speaking on the Patreon. We were like, we need this community more than ever. And we've all kind of come together and we're all supporting each other and helping each other through what's going on. And we're all in different parts of the world, which I find amazing and so interesting because we're all seeing what's going on and we're getting firsthand information from people that are actually experiencing it and different aspects of that, right? So this is kind of like your sign, I guess, if we're talking about higher self and stuff, right? Like find your community. Find your community.
I mean, this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be coming together with like-minded people. So Patreon will attract those that need each other, right? For that Telegram group and for the Patreon in general. But you need to go towards what group attracts you because it doesn't mean that every group is going to be perfectly suited for everybody. You need to go towards the group that best supports you and can best help you, lead you down the route that you're choosing, because we're actually all choosing whatever route we all want.
Free will.
Yeah, we're all using our free will. So, and I think it's important to find people that are deciding the same thing as you, or seeing the same thing, or are passionate
supporting
about
you.
Yeah, and you need to find those groups and start creating smaller communities. And right now, I don't think it's possible to create physical communities and bring those together, but I do think that's a future project for Earth.
I feel that. I feel like it's going to be inevitable. We're all going to kind of gravitate towards each other in one way or another.
Yeah.
There's no way around that. But I want to go back to the Akashic Records for a second, because I don't know if we've closed that off before we kind of wind down the episode.
Yeah, we didn't really talk too much about the Akashic Records.
That's okay. I think we should do it at the end. Maybe talk a little bit about. Let's just do a little life update, I guess. At the end, a quick one. So with the Akashic Records, I guess the main difference really is that you're using a verse to connect. It's you receiving information for your healing. Where when you connect to your higher self, it's not necessarily that you're healing. You're just getting guidance. You're getting maybe an intuitive hit. You're getting a message of what you need to do or what path to take. I don't know, like you're driving, you're like, oh, I think I should turn right here instead of go straight. Like little things like that will have an impact on you. But the Akashic Records is more informational for you to understand things in a different perspective, for you to be able to take a step back and see the whole picture and heal through that.
Yeah. Yeah. And if I had to clarify a little bit more, I'd say the higher self is not going to give you this whole backstory of this was a past life that I had, and this is why you're feeling this. The higher self is more like, I'm going to lead you and I'm going to support you in the best way I can. And the Akashic Records are going to give you the backstory. The Akashic Records are going to try to make you understand yourself, why you feel this way, why you're attracted to this in life, why you're passionate about that, why they can talk to you possibly about your mission, about your struggles and your relationships. These are all things that, it's not that your higher self doesn't care. It's that for the higher self, it's more about supporting the energy of this lifetime, this timeline, and just giving, what's it called? Giving, it's like, what's what I'm looking for? Clues. Giving clues to where you should go next. Hey, instead of saying, the Akashic Records would say to you, hey, you've been really interested in this, right? Oh, well, this is because of that. And if you go down that route, it's awesome. Your higher self, to me at least, your higher self's not going to say that. Your higher self is going to put it in front of you. It's going to be an ad that shows up on your computer all of a sudden, or you're watching something on TV and then something jumps and you're like, oh, wait, that shot calls my attention, or I don't know, whatever it is.
Or a desire or feeling you get when you see it that
or
sparks
just knowing,
something in you.
Yeah.
I think that's probably more common.
So one's more information, the other one's more action-like, I guess you could say, in a way.
Yeah, it definitely feels that way. And I'm pretty sure this is different for everybody.
Yes.
Like we aren't all going to interact in the same way. We're not all going to connect with it in the same way. But yeah, and that also goes to show, like, when we're connecting to the Akashic Records, we're all different types of channels. Like for me, I feel a lot. You're very visual. Our energies are different. That also connects us to specific parts of our channel. So I think that also has something like that makes me feel more things when I'm getting a message than maybe you.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely don't feel very much on readings. I'm receiving a lot of visual, and the information I'm getting is just coming down really pretty quick. And that's, I don't really feel, maybe some goosebumps, some confirmations. Maybe if I'm asking about somebody, someone gives me a name and I'm asking about that person, I might feel for a second what that person feels, but that's the extent of me feeling, really. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I know we kind of went all over the place between all of this, but let's give people like a little bit of an update of what's going on, because when this episode comes out, we've already finished our first 2 classes of level 2.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I love how, like, talking in the future. So just thinking in those terms, of course, we'll have stuff to say about that in the next episode for sure. And we're going to be I'm so excited for that, for teaching this. And
I'm hoping you have internet.
Yeah, so right now there's a storm coming to the Cayman Islands. So
the second storm during hurricane
second
season.
Storm in like 2 weeks, a tropical storm. Thankfully, not a hurricane yet. So
I think you guys will get it as a tropical storm. I think you guys will be okay.
It'll be a tropical storm. Yeah, I'm already kind of getting that message. So yeah, so right now I'm just kind of we're recording. I'm trying to like wrap stuff up, making sure that everything's ready for the course.
Because it hits you guys at 7:30, and for you right now it's 2, right?
It's
so in 5 hours.
2:43. Yeah. So yeah, we've got, we're pretty much prepped for any type of hurricane situation, like food wise, and we've got a few extra things this time. You learn from your mistakes, right? So from the last storm, there was a few things that we realized, which was good. So yeah, not nice. I mean, if it thankfully in the last storm, no one got hurt, but I feel like it throws off everything. And that goes to show how powerful Mother Nature is and Gaia is, because we have no control over it. Absolutely none at all. We are these little, like, tiny specks next to Gaia and the power of Gaia.
Yeah. Yeah. And this year was I remember the Akashic Records talking about how this was a year of a lot of movement for Gaia. And yeah, we're seeing it.
It's going to continue for a while too.
Oh yeah.
Astrologically speaking, yeah, it's going to go on for a bit longer.
I don't know when did we channel that for the Patreon, or did we channel that? I don't remember when that was.
I don't remember.
But I remember getting that, and I remember thinking, oh no. That she was shifting, that her energy was shifting, that she was creating. So she's basically vibrating in 4D now, right? She was bringing in that 4D, or coming more into the 4D energy level. And so,
you know what message I'm getting?
There was movement. What?
Everything that's going on in this 3D plane, all of this separation, all of this anger, all of this distortion of power, and I can't even go into all of that. But all of that is affecting her as well. It's energetic, right? So all of that is making her have to like come back with this energy and be like, you guys aren't seeing the bigger picture. Like, wake up.
Yeah. I mean, her children, right? Her children we're stuck in 3D and we're in the dense version of 3D. We have not done things. We have not coped with our emotions properly. We have not coped with, interconnecting with each other properly. We have not ascension properly. Like, there's so many things that we need to learn. And we have a very big, that's the way I see it, at least. We have a very big difference between the way we vibrate and she vibrates. Yeah. How long can she sustain this lower vibrational children? So she's shifting her energy. She's moving around. She's trying to do what she needs to set herself up for the next era of herself.
Yep, I see that too.
That's going to affect us.
Yeah. So dealing with that right now. Hopefully no one gets hurt with the storm and that it doesn't get worse. And then after that, the only other update I really have is I did a bit of a psychic reading training, and then I'm going to be doing the psychic mediumship workshop that we're doing with our friend Roberto, which I'm really excited. This mediumship, specifically the mediumship stuff, is something I've been feeling called to and connected with in a few readings already without me realizing it. And then, have come to this conclusion. I'm like, this seems like kind of the way I need to go. So I think the Akashic Records is only just taking me in that direction. Not to say I'm going to give up on the Akashic Records, because to me it's part of my life now. But being able to give people closure and healing through the mediumship would be really interesting and something I'm feeling called to. So that's something I'm going to really take seriously. And hopefully be able to help people with it too. So, and then the psychic stuff too. I definitely already feel my channel in certain ways changing and going in another direction and being able to assist in different ways, which is beautiful. And I think, I've just opened up to it being another path, I guess, right? Yeah.
That's good.
What about you?
Those are your crumbs. I want to go back to the woods.
Right now?
Like right now. Nothing. Aurora started school and I'm back to biking 80 minutes a day, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth,
80
back and
minutes?
Forth. Yeah, I have to drop her off at school and come back. So it's about 10-minute bike ride for me. So 10, 20, right?
Yeah.
Drop her off, come back. And then she comes back home for lunch. So I have to go pick her up and come back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, and then after I have to drop her off after lunch, I have to drop her back off at school again, come back home. And then when she finishes school, I got to go pick her up again and come back. And today was the first day where I had to do like that route, because yesterday was her first day of school, like once again, her first day of school, and she had half a day. So today was one of the full days, and now I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. Like I need to get used to this routine again,
and it's early, right?
No, she gets in at, they changed it. Last year she was getting in at 8:20, and this year she gets in at 8:30. It's not that bad.
That's not too bad. Well, right now it's
but
okay.
In the middle of winter in Holland with the wind and the rain, there were times where I was on the bike with Aurora and it was, what's it called? It was hailing on us.
Oh my God.
And Aurora's like, ow, ow, ow. I'm like, I'm sorry, we're almost home.
Hey, you know what it is? It's like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? I guess.
Yeah. That's a shitty program, by the way.
Yeah, it's shitty.
It's a program that is inserted inside of us so we can like accept all the bullshit of life and say, well, life comes with bullshit. Let me accept it.
You don't have to. You can change it. Maybe it's time to start manifesting a different way of taking her to school. Yeah,
well, getting the driver's license. I talked to a friend and she was talking about the corrupt system here and how it's annoying, and
it's all about the environment there, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think a lot of people have cars and you see them riding. If it's not raining, you'll see a lot of people still decide to grab the bike, even though they can go in their car, for example.
It's cultural.
I think it's a tradition as well, normal. And And also, like, it's convenient because when they'll go out with their friends and drink, so they don't have to drive, they go on the bike. They just bike back drunk.
Smart. Which is still dangerous.
Yeah, but nothing ever happened.
Dangerous.
I never hear of anything. I've never heard of anything happening to them on the bike. Besides,
Oh my God.
maybe
I know
somebody
a guy here. I always run into him. He has his dog, so my dog and his dog always play. And the other day, this is probably months ago, I saw him. I'm like, whoa, what happened to your arms? Like, he had all like scabs all over his like elbows, all down his arms. And he's like, oh yeah, I was drunk and riding one of those scooters home after drinking, and he fell.
No.
I was like, I knew someone was going to say that one day, because these scooters are all over here now, and you just see people driving them down the highway. It's so dangerous.
Oh my gosh.
You know, driving here is not very good.
There's a lot of drunk drivers there.
Yeah.
It's funny because I can't stand drunk. Like, I do not get drunk.
No, me neither.
I will enjoy a glass of wine, but if I'm having a glass of wine, I'm drinking water next to it. Sometimes I'm drinking water and tea with it.
Ew.
Like, I'm not just, I don't know, I'm used to it at this point, or whatever. But, like, I remember the time that I decided not to do that. I was 26 years old. I just turned 26. I had gone to New York for New Year's Eve, and I drank way too much. And the next day, I remember feeling so, no, it's not that I drank too much. It's that I drank too much. I drank a lot, but I mixed.
Yeah.
I had mixed, like, vodka with wine, and I don't even know what else I mixed. I don't even remember what I mixed. And the next day I woke up, and obviously, like, I was feeling awful, and I said, I'm never, ever, ever getting drunk again. And everyone's like, everybody says that. No, listen to me. I am never, ever, ever going to put myself in a situation where I feel like this. I'm never getting drunk again. And I didn't.
Yeah, that's good.
The second I feel like a little bit, like the little tiny, almost like, oh, I'm getting tipsy almost, like right when I feel the little lingering, that's it. I stop and I start drinking water and tea. And if I want to enjoy wine because I'm in a reunion with people and I want to enjoy it, I'll eat, I'll drink water, I'll drink tea, and then I'll grab glass after. And I never get drunk.
And I think that's smart. I might have a drink a month, if that. I really don't drink anymore.
Yeah, at this point I'm drinking like maybe, well, when I was in the woods, I didn't drink anything at all, but I do like to drink a glass of wine with like dinner. I do that on like once a week, maybe on Saturday or something. But it helps to be a reader because you're not drinking the day before or the day of the reading. Yeah. So you end up never really, and especially if you're really busy, you're like, when can I get a drink in?
Exactly. Like, I'll have to plan that out at this point, right? If I know I have like a dinner with a bunch of friends, I'm like, I would really like to have a drink that night. And I'm just saying like half a glass of wine or something.
Yeah.
Or some Prosecco or something. I'll have to make sure I don't have and if I have a reading the next day, I don't drink. I don't even have a sip of alcohol. I'm just like, no.
I was thinking about this the other day because I know that supposedly drinking brings your vibration down, your energy down. Supposedly they say that, right? And I don't think that drinking large consumptions is good at all.
No, for nothing. Like, it's not good for anything.
Yeah. But I think that if you're having maybe just one glass or you're having a nice dinner, you're having one or two glasses, if you're drinking because you're enjoying the taste and you're enjoying it with your food and you're not in a bad place where you're not drinking because you're sad, you're not drinking because you want to get drunk, you're not drinking because you're being social and you want to like have fun. If the intention is to just enjoy that with what you're doing there, I think that changes the level of the vibration of the consumption.
I feel that, yeah, definitely.
So I don't fully frown upon not drinking. I frown upon drinking the social way that we tend to drink, that humans tend to drink. I frown upon the overall goal being getting drunk.
Yeah. That's just not healthy.
Yeah. And I think it's really bad for you if you're going out of your way to consume anything, actually, alcohol or anything, even food. If you're going out of your way to consume something because you're feeling a negative emotion, that's definitely going to be even worse for your body than if you were consuming that in a different state.
Totally. I completely agree with that. 100%. All right. Do you want to say anything else before we go?
Yeah. So anyways, we totally got off topic with that one. That's my update, guys. I'm biking a lot.
Great exercise.
Back to biking. Yeah.
So like we said, level 2, our August level 2 class will have completed at least the first 2 classes. But we are going to bring back level 2 hopefully for October. So I've included the link to the level 2 sign up form on this episode. So make sure that if you are interested and you've done level 1 and you want to do level 2 and you are interested, make sure you sign up so we make sure that we contact you with information once we have the dates and all the details. And yeah, remember we have our Patreon where we channel, where we connect to different topics, and we're really making it a point to really communicate and have this fluid communication with our Patreon members. It's kind of our way of giving back to them. So we do live Zoom calls every quarter approximately, and now we have the Telegram group, which is pretty active. Like, I'm really loving that everybody's just chatting and connecting. It's so nice.
Yeah.
So if you guys are interested, I'll include the link for the Patreon in the show notes as well. And I think that's about it. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week with a new episode. Wish me luck. Hopefully, well, the storm's already gone by the time this episode. Time with the podcast is so weird. I'm like, wait, no,
because we recorded on Thursday and the episode comes out on Monday.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens with the storm by that time. And yeah, we'll sending you guys lots of love and light. And yeah, hoping everybody's staying safe and speaking up and doing what you need to do and really fulfilling your purpose at this moment in life. It's really important that we all connect with that right now. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.